Bill King's here with us. He is the king of college football talk, hosting 6 to 9 Monday through Friday, WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio. Bill, how you doing today?
If you guys are talking about Coastal Carolina, one of my top listeners, if you can rank them like that, has a company in Myrtle Beach that has put most of that campus together. And he was talking to me about how they came about the free concessions. Pretty cool story.
Okay, so how do you do this? How in the world do you do free concessions in an era where you're paying players?
They finagled the money somehow. I'm not sure. I don't remember what he told me as far as the fundraising and everything. I even looked it up, thought it would be a gimmick, but apparently you can get 4 items, but you can go back as many times as you want. So there's really not even a limit.
10,000 people see a Shannon Clear game every Saturday?
No, I'd say probably 1,500, 1,000.
That's the reason.
No, guys, wait a minute. I'm thinking of baseball. Yeah, in football, it's just a football deal. I'd say they average probably 28.
Okay,
30.
Yeah. That's a lot of seats. 30. You get up to that's like having a game at War Memorial. If you get 30, 40,000 people there, man, that's that could get expensive.
Right.
Yeah, they'll end up getting more folks to the game just on the free food. Just on the free food alone.
I can promise you, as much money as the SEC makes, they'll never do that.
Hey, Bill, we had a coaching change in the middle of spring football here over at Stanford, and it's not to get into why they made the change. It's who did the firing here. It was Andrew Luck that at least announced the change, with the previous coach being accused of bullying staffers throughout his 2-year tenure. But Luck is not the athletic director. He's the football general manager. And this is the first time I remember that this has come out. Any kind of firing has come out from someone that it's not announced by the AD. It's the sports GM.
And did Frank Wright coach Andrew Luck? He was his quarterback coach right there when he was at Indy, wasn't he?
Pretty sure. Yeah, pretty sure. And they're saying it's only a 1-year deal. Now, I'm not sure, is that just we're going to give him an audition, or it's really just a 1-year deal to get us to 26? I'm not sure I understood that either.
Maybe what they didn't they do that with Coach Orgeron at LSU? Was it something similar like that? Like you're coming in, we'll see how you do, and if he does well, don't you think they would keep him?
No doubt. If they succeed, that's a very difficult gig. And Harbaugh and that group really spoiled everybody, and that's not realistic there. That is a tough program to get dudes to. You can get a few. A big tackle I was telling you guys from my neighborhood. Big 6'7" kid starts for that team. But that's a difficult gig. Now you're playing in the ACC. It's going to be hard.
Hey, I know that Coach Prime had brought up he wanted to have a spring scrimmage with the Syracuse Orange, and it sounded like Fran Brown was fine with the idea, but the NCAA has said no, we're not going to allow you to do this. What's the reasoning here? Because if the two coaches want to do it, what's wrong with the idea?
Now you're saying what's the NCAA reasoning? Well, their reasoning is typically not well thought out, but. There were 2 reasons, but one of them was it would be a recruiting advantage. Now, guys, not to be conceited, I think I know the recruiting world as good as anybody in the history of this planet. And I have never heard of a player who made a decision on a school based on a spring game. And not that we've ever had a matchup team on team in a spring game, but spring games are not one of the top 100 reasons you would make a decision on a school. So based on that, they're idiots still.
Has anything happened this spring on these SEC campuses as far as, anything that's kind of shocked you, like a quarterback taking up, maybe a running back or a receiver, any team that's kind of impressed you this spring?
Not really, because news out of spring is typically fake, unless there's an injury. That's one to take note. I don't know of a significant injury. And remember, if you've got a quarterback battle, rule number 1 is you don't announce the winner in the spring, for any number of
fair
reasons,
enough, right? Because he's going to jump. The other one to jump in the port. Yeah,
correct.
So, you watched some baseball over the weekend. I sent Bill photos of. I sent him a video of the Whistler, Ian, who we were calling him, since it's how many years that since High Fidelity came out?
25 years ago, High Fidelity came out. John Cusack movie.
That's right. So he didn't have too much to whistle about, but I know Bill was watching Vandy, Arkansas over the weekend. And so there's two aspects to this conversation here, Bill. One, the Hogs look really good. They're playing well. It's a tough lineup. The other aspect is it's kind of not surprising. It's just shocking to see that Vanderbilt now has become, they're not one of the programs you go into every year and think this is going to be a team that will challenge for Omaha. They've become another SEC program, a good program, but not where they were before, Bill.
You can isolate it to one area for the most part, and that would be power hitting. You need to hit home runs in this league if you're going to be at the top, and they don't have that. They don't have that in their lineup. They really haven't had it in their lineup for about 3 years. And Tim Corbin is out in the portal. They are spending some money, but it's not working out well for them. But the power department, the J.J. Blade, remember him not that long ago? On that same team, their leadoff guy hit home runs. I forget the kid's name. He played either second or short for them. But their leadoff player on that same Blade team hit home runs. He'd lead off game with a home run from time to time. They don't have any of that right now.
Does this have something to do with now teams can fund their teams differently because of Vanderbilt's potential advantage with need-based scholarships, and they could fund a whole team with full scholarships? Stanford could do the same thing before. Wake Forest, I think, could do the same thing. You can always point and say, well, not all the teams that do this win national titles, and I'm not saying that that's why they won it. But they were able to stockpile talent in a way that a lot of other teams couldn't. And I don't know if Vandy can do that anymore. So I think, to me, it feels like the change in how you fund college baseball, it hurt Vanderbilt.
I think we've talked about this. But Pedro Alvarez, a New York City baseball player, number one player in the country, his senior year, Vanderbilt got his taxi driver. And I was talking to Tim about it. He was in my show on Sirius XM. He came by the studio for an hour. And he said, I had that completely funded, and I also had money in his pocket due to Pell Grants and any other type private school institutional money you can get.
That's interesting. Well, they look like they're still a good team. It's just not, national championship caliber. That's all. There's a difference between those two. Did you see there were reports coming out? Buzz Williams is apparently taking the Maryland basketball job and leaving Texas A&M. Now, Bill, no matter what sport it is, it just always sounds odd when a sitting SEC coach leaves that team, no matter what sport it is, to go to another league. And I wonder your vantage point on that.
Here's another odd statement. Historically, you would never say he's going to a inferior league. How about that? Because if you think about that whole Eastern Seaboard that I've harped on when it comes to football, there's so much talent there. And there's lots of talent in Texas, too. I mean, incredible basketball talent, not just football talent, baseball talent. But I think he feels like that's probably a better deal. His ceiling's probably higher there.
A&M's just interesting with the size of the school, the money they put into it, the money they'll pay their coaches. They couldn't keep Schlossnagle. They're not keeping Buzz Williams. It didn't work out with Jimbo. It looked like it was, it's just 1 year under Elko. He can't just make some grand, idea of what his program is, but, they didn't necessarily finish very strongly. Women's basketball had a terrible year, and it's like that's one of those programs, one of those athletic departments. Georgia's another one. It's like they should probably be good in everything they play and be able to fund whatever it is they want to fund, but I don't know. It's just something at A&M. Maybe it's the rings. I don't know. Maybe it's putting the year you graduate after everything you write. It's just something odd about the place.
It remains in the one slot. There's not a close number two in the category of biggest, most powerful school with resources that is yet, mainly historically, almost historically. I mean, you can pick out years. Jackie Sherrill had a few good years. R.C. Slocum had some good years in there. But in general, none of those programs have historically produced the way we think the structure should produce.
No, it doesn't. Got any Final Four thoughts? Do you watch Final Four? I know you're not big into college basketball, but these are the last 3 games.
Well, I'm a Bruce Pro guy. He was on my channel, and so I know Bruce pretty well. I'm pulling for him. I doubt they're going to win it all because somebody's got to beat Duke, and it doesn't look like that's going to be happening right now.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for betting on all the madness. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion. With the largest selection of odds on everything from college basketball to a $200,000 bracket contest, BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every Cinderella story to every hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here.